Obado might be ordered to compensate, and that might be the end of it. Several questions arose. Can that provision apply to murder? Murder is a felony. People don't like it. Neither does Omari advocate for anybody to kill any other person unlawfully. We are looking at what does the law say. Obado is coming to court on 16th of September 2026 for mitigation and sentencing. Suppose the family walks with an agreement that they have already been compensated and they have nothing. They don't want Obado to be sentenced to death or to be sentenced to life imprisonment or to any years in prison. What does the law say? Can a murder suspect, can a murder convict be discharged? Can somebody be acquitted even after being convicted? Welcome to Court Helicopter Explainers. We are still on a very public interest topic. We did an explainer from Milimani High Court saying that under Section 31 of the Penal Code and under Section 175 of the Criminal Procedure Code and Section 26 of the Victims Compensation Act, the Victims Act, Obado might be ordered to compensate, and that might be the end of it. Several questions arose. Can that provision apply to murder? Murder is a felony. People don't like it. Neither does Omari advocate for anybody to kill any other person unlawfully. We are looking at what does the law say. Obado is coming to court on 16th of September 2026 for mitigation and sentencing. Suppose the family walks with an agreement that they have already been compensated and they have nothing. They don't want Obado to be sentenced to death or to be sentenced to life imprisonment or to any years in prison. What does the law say? Can a murder suspect, can a murder convict be discharged? Can somebody be acquitted even after being convicted? Very many schools of thought are arguing that murder is not an offense against the family. It is an offense against the republic. That is true. But Bramwell could not buy that idea. He decided, no, let him go and do research on this question. Has any murder suspect been released after they have settled this matter? He got a very two interesting authorities. This is the first authority of the Republic versus Mohamed Ado Mohamed. This is in the High Court at Nairobi, Milimani, criminal case number 86 of 2011. Justice Roslyn Correll J. gave us this authority on May 2nd, 2013. What are the brief facts in this matter? Mohamed Ado Mohamed was charged with the murder of Osman Ali Abdi at Isli on the 19th day of October 2011 on the 10th Street in Starehe district within Nairobi County. He was arraigned in court on 19th November 2011 and pleaded not guilty to the charge. On the 26th March 2012, the case was coming up for hearing. For the state, the Director of Public Prosecution requested that the charge be withdrawn on account of a settlement reached between the families of the accused and the deceased respectively. The letter in question read in part. Listen, this is what Bramwell has found for us. And I read in verbatim. The two families have sat and some form of compensation has taken place wherein camels, goats, and other traditional ornaments were paid to the aggrieved family. Actually, one of the rituals that have been performed is said to have paid for blood of the deceased to his family, as provided for under the Islamic law and customs. These two families have performed the said rituals. The family of the deceased is satisfied that the offence committed has been fully compensated to them under the Islamic laws and customs applicable in such matters, and in the foregoing circumstances, they do not wish to pursue the matter any further, be it in court or in another forum. The Director of Public Prosecution quoted Article 159(1) of the Constitution, which allows courts and tribunals to be guided by alternative dispute resolution, including reconciliation, mediation, arbitration, and traditional dispute resolution mechanisms. The DPP urged the court to consider the case as a sui generis, as the parties had submitted themselves to traditional and Islamic laws, which provide an avenue for reconciliation. He stressed that each of the parties was satisfied and felt adequately compensated. He drew the court's attention to the affidavit of Abdo Alio Ibrahim, the deceased's father, which in part reads, "This is the father of the deceased person." And I quote, "It's worth noting that it goes against our tradition to pursue the matter any further and or testify against the accused person once we have received full compensation in the matter of which we already have. It is our instruction that the matter and or court case be withdrawn, as our family wishes to put a stop to this matter." This is the family saying they have been paid, they have been compensated, they are no longer interested to pursuing this matter. What did the judge say? The judge in paragraph 5 says that is Justice correct. "I have considered the application under Article 157 of the Constitution. The Director of Public Prosecution is mandated to exercise the state powers of prosecution, and in that exercise may discontinue at any stage criminal proceedings against any person. In the unique circumstances of this present application, I am satisfied that the ends of justice will be met by allowing rather than disallowing the application. Consequently, I discharge the accused." Paragraph 6. He is set at liberty forthwith unless otherwise lawfully held. Signed at Nairobi this day, 2nd day of May 2013, by Justice Roslyn R. Lagat Korir, the judge of the High Court of Kenya. This is the first authority. Let us look for another authority Bramwell also looked for to supplement this authority. This is the High Court at Garissa, criminal case number 32 of 2012. The judge is G.M.A. Dulu, a judge of the High Court of Kenya. It is a judgment dated October 25th, 2016, between the Republic and Irshad Abdal. What is the ruling? The criminal case commenced in the year 2012. The accused, Irshad Abdullah, had been charged with the murder contrary to Section 203 as read with Section 204 of the Penal Code. The particulars of the offence are that on 25th September 2012, at Arel Village, Madogo location, Bula district within Tana River County, murdered Hassan Dahir Bare. The prosecution has called 4 witnesses. Now the DPP through prosecuting counsel, has requested this court to allow the discontinuance of these criminal proceedings pursuant to Article 157 of the Constitution and Section 25(1) of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions Act. The judge says in paragraph 3, I have perused the documents filed, including an affidavit from the wife of the deceased, Binto Ibrahim Bar, which was thumbprinted. The information contained therein is that both the deceased and the accused come from Alohian clan, but from different subclans, that they have met and decided to compromise the matter through blood compensation, as allowed under custom and Islamic law. The judge in paragraph 4 says, an agreement dated 19th December 2015 was also filed and signed. It reads, and I quote, the deliberations that the Guled family of Irshad, who is in custody, to pay 40 camels, equivalent to 4,400,000 shillings. That is the current price of the family of the deceased. The family of the alleged assailant paid that compensation without any hesitation. And the elders unanimously agree to have Irshad released from custody. The meeting was chaired by Bule Abdullahi Gedi, who also addressed a letter to the same agreement to the Director of Public Prosecution Office in Garissa on 19th December 2015. The said letter has also been filed. So, what did the judge say? Paragraph 9. Considering that the two families of the victim and the accused herein have agreed and compensation has been paid already, in my view, the request by the DPP is justified. I thus allow the request for discontinuance of the criminal proceedings herein. The criminal proceedings herein are therefore herewith discontinued, and the accused is discharged forthwith. Dated and delivered at Garissa, this day, the 25th day of October 2016, by George Dulu, the judge. What is the import of these authorities that Bramwell has brought to the attention of the country? That the courts, in two decisions of the High Court, compensation was done and the families requested this matter not to proceed. But these are matters before conviction. The Obado matter, conviction has been done. Can the family surprise everybody to come and say they have been compensated? The request of the family has been met. They have been given the house, they have been given the car, they have been given support for the children, they have been given everything. What is the judge likely to do? That's not my preserve. From Court Helicopter, our role is to bring you cases, authorities that have been decided. This is a case in Garissa High Court. This is another decided matter before Milimani High Court. In criminal case number 90 of 2013, that is the Republic versus Abdullahi Nur Mohamed, alias Arab, who was accused person, Justice Lecit differs with Justice Dulo and Justice Correll. What is her position in this matter? This is criminal case number 90 of 2013. The accused Abdullahi Nur Mohamed alias Arab was charged with the murder contrary to Section 203, as read with Section 204 of the Penal Code. The particulars of the charge were that on the 24th day of June 2013 along Jam Street, Isli Estate, Kamkunji District within Nairobi County, he murdered Abdulataf Sharif Mohamed. Then the family came and the prosecutor came and they told the judge that they have reconciled, they have paid blood money and let the matter proceed. What did Justice Lecit in paragraph 29 say? Following the promulgation of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the Constitution and the written laws recognize alternative dispute resolution and traditional dispute resolution mechanisms as means of enhancing justice. The court does appreciate the goodwill of the accused family and that of the deceased in their quest to have the matter settled out of court. The judge now differs completely and says the charge against the accused is a felony, and as such, reconciliation as a form of settling the proceedings is prohibited. Furthermore, this request is being made too late in the day when the case has been heard to its conclusion. For these reasons, I find that the application lacks merit. The application is therefore disallowed. Read and signed and delivered at Nairobi this day, the 28th day of July, 2016. Justice Lesit Judge, then at the High Court in Nairobi. Today, Justice Lesit sits at the Court of Appeal, away from the High Court. We look to see what Justice Gidua will decide with Obado. All our eyes are on the ball. We shall be looking at the directions of the judge, considering what the family has requested, what the law says. I am privy, aware, that there is a decision by Justice Lesit. Justice Lesit, while sitting in Milimani, a similar question was presented to her. The Justice Lesit then declined that issue of compensation. According to Justice Lesit, murder is not an issue to be determined by the family. It is an offence against the state. The DPP, according to Justice Lesit, the DPP has a duty to protect the public interest, and the judge disagreed and ordered the prosecution of the murder person to proceed. This is a novel issue. These are matters the three judges, Justice Koril, Justice Duru, Justice Lesit, were dealing with matters before conviction. This Obado matter comes in as a new issue. What will the judge, Justice Gidua, decide? Remember, Justice Gidua is not bound by any of these decisions of the High Court. Under the law, they are all judges of equal status. Justice Lesit, then a judge of the High Court, Justice Koril, a judge of the High Court, Justice Duru, a judge of the High Court. They cannot bind Justice Gidua. If it was a decision from the Court of Appeal, we will now be saying we know with certainty the outcome of what Justice Gidua is going to decide. That is not our province. That is the province of the judge. But as court helicopter, our role is to educate you, to bring to you how courts faced with certain questions have decided. Thank you from Court Helicopter. We thank our researcher, Bramwell, for doing a fantastic job. Asanteni. Thank you.